Hi, I'm John and welcome to the Jigsaw Puzzler. Today we're going to be looking at this puzzle. It's a Heye puzzle, 1,000 pieces. It is Alfred Hitchcock and his films, part of the Movie Masters series. On a previous episode we have looked at the Wes Anderson version of this puzzle, and now it's the turn of great British film director Alfred Hitchcock. I asked for this puzzle, hinted very seriously that I could have this one for Christmas, and one of my daughters gave it to me as a Christmas present. It is an absolute delight to do, and anyone who is a Hitchcock fan will just simply love this puzzle. So it is designed by Alexandre Clarice. I think he's the same designer that did all of the puzzles in the series, and it's an absolute beauty. Alright, firstly, the quality of the puzzle itself. Very thick cardboard, or reasonably thick cardboard, holds together nicely. You can pick it up. Not a hugely tight fit, but tightly fit enough that you can do that. It has a slight gloss finish, but not very super glossy, so when I've got the lights on, you can still see everything that's going on here. This is a busy puzzle. Alfred Hitchcock was a busy director. Directing so many well-known movies full of iconic scenes that have been repeated and referenced in the years since he came up with them. This puzzle references 12 of his movies that I can identify. Well, actually, I can identify 11 of them, and there's one that I'm in a little bit of doubt about. On this side over here, and some of the motifs are spread across the puzzle, on the two sides there are buildings. This side's got quite a wide building, wide and tall, and the whole upper level of it, for the top 3/4 or 2/3 of it, references Rear Window, as does the top of this building over here. These are related images from the movie Rear Window. And there's a little building beside here with a very iconic image of the neighbour who is a dancer, a ballet dancer, and she is, you can see her stretching through the open window, and that she's a character from Rear Window as well. So Rear Window is quite dominant in this puzzle. At the top here we have this tower. Looks like a monastery. With the tower, there's a man standing at the top, and a woman has plunged off the edge of it. And then the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco behind. This is, of course, reference to Vertigo, the climactic scene in Vertigo. Across from that here, we've got the biplane. We've got this beautifully elegant house, and this very stylish gentleman in the front, and a car. And these are references to North by Northwest. In the middle, over this side here, we have a very ornate looking schoolhouse and some play equipment out the front, and cars on the street, particularly this first car here. And these are references to The Birds, where thousands and thousands of birds descend and terror on Bodega Bay and terrorize the inhabitants. And of course, all over this puzzle you will see hundreds of birds, from right up the top in the distance here, over here, all over the puzzle there are the images of birds. So that's quite prominent there. In the middle we have the Bates Motel with the car in front of it, and then up the steps leading up the hill to Mother's house, where Norman Bates lives with his mother, and you can see her silhouetted in the window upstairs. Of course, this is the central setting for Psycho. The most famous scene in all of Alfred Hitchcock's films comes from Psycho, and that's referenced over on the side in a little cutaway here, the shower scene, where the protagonist, the main hero of the story, if you like, the person through whom the story was initially told, is murdered very early on in the film. That broke tremendous ground cinematographically at the time, and is still probably one of the most iconic movie scenes of all time. Moving down the puzzle, we have this little inset scene here of character going up the stairs in deep shadow, carrying a tray with a glass of milk on it. This is a reference to a climactic scene in the movie Suspicion. Underneath is another cutaway figure, image looking at the figure, I think, of Richard Heye or his pursuer in the 39 Steps. Across the bottom here, we have the woods and this dead body with somebody leaning over him writing, and then a retired sea captain coming along. This, of course, is from the movie The Trouble with Harry. The corpse on the ground is Harry. Then we move across to these buildings here in the middle. At the back here, we have Rebecca. This is, or the movie Rebecca. This is the house Manderley that Maxim de Winter owns, and the evil housekeeper Mrs. Danvers keeps Rebecca's memory alive in the house. And then across the side, over the side here, probably the most famous collaboration that Alfred Hitchcock had with any artist, Salvador Dali. They did a dream sequence for the film Spellbound, and Dali designed the sets, and made the sets for the dream sequence for Spellbound. So I think that is the 12 movies. North by Northwest, Vertigo, Rear Window, Psycho, The Birds, Suspicion, The 39 Steps, The Trouble with Harry, Rebecca, and Spellbound. Sorry. Oh, yes. So that's 10 of the 12. Sorry. The 11th one is over here. It's very, very small. On the water behind here, you can see a lifeboat. There's a little boat, rowing boat filled with people. That's, of course, a reference to Lifeboat. And then the 12th one is this train here in the middle. Now, it's the one that I really can't definitively identify the movie that's from. Trains appear significantly in quite a number of Hitchcock's films. I think this might be a reference to the 39 Steps, but it's not the Forth River Bridge. It is just a brick viaduct, so I'm not sure about that. But Strangers on a Train, yes, Strangers on a Train, 39 Steps. There are any number of Hitchcock films that feature trains in a significant way. The Lady Vanishes takes place on a train, so I'm not quite sure which movie is referencing this particular train. If you know, pop that in the comments underneath. I'd love to figure that out. I have half a dozen books about Alfred Hitchcock and his movies. I have flicked through the pictures in all of them to see if I can find the train, and no luck. However, it's there, and I know it's the 12th one. All right, so how did I make this? This was just a pleasure to do. This is colours and textures and small puzzles joining together to make the whole big one. I did separate all of the edge pieces out. I did do the edge first. I did and then I just chose a section to do. I chose the curtains over here, this a room that you can see into from Rear Window, where you've got the musician writing at the piano over here. So I focused on the yellow and the sort of stripe, the downward verticals of the window. And then I picked out some of the windows here. I then moved on to, I did the house down here. These pink bricks on this building down here are very distinctive, quite easy to pull out. That came together well. And then it was just a matter of working my way around the puzzle, looking for various bits. The three cars across the middle came together fairly quickly, as did the car outside the Bates Motel, the schoolhouse, Mother's house, the building where the dancer is, the very elegant modernist house in North by Northwest, all came together very nicely. Even the sky came together reasonably easily. There's not a lot of sky. There are virtually no pieces of the sky that are just blank on their own. They do have this graded speckled effect, making it look like there are millions of birds in the sky, I think. So it is actually fairly easy to put together. There's a green hill, so you can follow the border of the hill. There are so many elements that there's no section here which is just blank colour. I think the hardest part was to put the woods together from the trouble with Harry, because of the directions of the trees, and I did use the box lid a little bit for that. But other than that, it was actually quite straightforward to put together. It helps having the Bates Motel sign in the middle and this sign here, Route 41, with the bus stop. It's a little bit of writing on it. And of course this section here with Salvador Dali's dream sequence from Spellbound. All these eyes in this very almost khaki green coloured tones, that wasn't hard to put together. So the woods, I think, was the hardest. Sorting out the bricks was the least interesting part of it for all the walls. But once I put the windows together, there wasn't too much left to do with the bricks, to be honest. Yeah, it came together so very easily and very nicely. I would highly recommend doing this puzzle. I'd recommend this series, in fact. The Wes Anderson one was just a pleasure to put together as well. I loved this one. I love Hitchcock's films, and I loved exploring to find the details on here that reference different films. And I'm pleased that I could name 11 of the 12 that I know are here. Others might be here as well. I don't know. I don't think so. So yes, it was just a pleasure to put together, and I would highly recommend doing this puzzle and this series. I don't know how long it took me to put it together, but I just plugged away at it. I think I did it all in one sitting. It was that pleasurable. Time just melted away while I was doing it. It was really lovely. All right, so we're going to have the time lapse. If you'd like to click like and subscribe to the channel so that you can see more of the videos and I can see what it is that people like, please make some comments underneath. You can comment about Hitchcock's films. If you know the film with the steam train on the viaduct, I'm suspecting it's the 39 Steps, but it could be the Lady Vanishes, unsure. But if you happen to know, then please put that in a comment. That would relieve me greatly. And enjoy the time lapse. Thank you very much for watching.